And I'm still on that page that I had tapped the screen, and when I did that, the only thing that was showing was the thing. So I didn't know that. So on the recording, all there is the fan. You can hear everything, but just the fan. I learned how to fix that. So I'm always learning something.
You can hear the fan?
No, you could hear. I was telling Jordan, I've learned so much with doing these recordings that there was one time that I had tapped the screen like to turn my phone back on.
Yeah.
And when I did that, it reduced the filming area to just the fan.
No, I didn't really care about it, but I thought you would like.
And so you could hear everything that was going on, but all you could see was the fan, and they didn't even realize it.
I know, I thought it was.
So, but now I know what to watch for.
You guys got me a little cup.
Well, yeah, they make that stuff so user friendly.
Yeah, right.
It causes problems.
Yeah, people who do this all the
Right,
time.
we're good for that. Yes. When I saw you sitting there, I'm gonna go get it out of my car. I'll be honest with you, I got it. All these more, they don't have the reds in it. You got to keep full price cars, but you're
Oh, you know why you didn't see it? It was in the clearance aisle.
Hey.
Well, you had this one had the Yankees and Boston, I think that was the future.
It looks like you started my driveway.
Our city must have put it on the time.
No, it
They probably didn't even make it for the Reds. I thought it was kind of cool. Like, if it was just a play, I would have thought it was so cool.
Because I drove it out. Right over the snowstorm, it's all covered all the way through that right at my driveway. It started. Looked like they dropped salt from there on out. So I didn't know where Jamie went. Going for 40. And my house at 40 was all solid. The rest of it wasn't, but I didn't know if you guys, is that still a township road all the way up to the school? Oh, yeah. Okay. Because I hate turning the windows to turkey wood. What the hell, you guys should do it.
Well, it's like past over here where one comes out the rest of it. I told you, it's like the intersection over here and, if you get over it, then.
Right. On that, I think it's, I remember the days when they didn't do that section of the road. You go down there and also that stuff, and all the fucking bombs went off, and then a nice road.
They got some new guys there.
Starts red. It's the same color.
Oh,
That's that letter you got. That's my.
Egg cards. That's the meal, and this is that all the information about
I'll read it while you guys are at it.
they just turn it on, put the salt down, cut the salt, push off, that way you know the back from the down, by the road or whatever else on the street.
Oh, really? How did that happen?
This is the same one that I missed.
Which address are
Only because everything's big.
That's why I didn't know your address.
I said potato. Well, that was my official statement.
To do something like
Oh, we actually know whose it is now?
Well, I just changed.
Last time.
And so I had my walking shoes on all day, and then I just used these for the meeting. So I, official.
Aside from maybe making my dog bark, I haven't had any problems.
After the chicken. It eats the chicken.
You can see whether they probably for something.
That's just a feature that's.
It went after the dog.
Yeah, to see if it works. I kind of
Don't
race
get
them
killed.
on
I don't have
See,
one.
so one or two things gonna happen, it's gonna work, or I'm gonna hit this person. As soon as I get
No.
Vita out, all of a sudden, it's red and central to my.
This cat doesn't do life, so I've got enough of that in the industry. I'm done with that.
I was more scared about all the red flashes going on in the windshield.
Yeah, I don't think that's much of that.
Hey, there's a tree that fell on my son, I took care of it.
Oh, no, that would be a misuse of township funds. Unless of course somebody agrees with it, then suddenly it's not.
I had to move it out of my road to
I
get.
know, it could have been mortified.
No, see, haven't you learned how to do this yet? You take it and you put it on the road, and then it's, you know.
I had a road to go up to the little barn, I put it in the middle of the road to go to the little barn.
It's a road and it's in the township, therefore it's a township road, therefore. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we actually went over to Curtin last night to those.
Do you have a copy of here?
Man, came across some places out there, it was nuts. Yeah. So like here it was really gusty, but over there, it was just a steady.
Are you there?
Well, they said somewhere they turned off the blow up. I'll try to get one and update.
Well, yeah, they were dancing, some of the little things were dancing with them.
They turned them off somewhere. One of the lakes.
Yeah, really, because I'm surprised they weren't real car out and stuff, 'cause that was. I've got a windshield chart at work that published for, so it was 28 degrees, but it was also 30 mile an hour winds, so it had the wind chill
I'd like to know who did that.
almost at zero. It's definitely single digits. Thank you again for the birthday celebration.
Yeah, that's what they're.
No, you're pure trouble. Probably what
We do get it. Who has the white dog that walks the dog like that?
Bob? You know, I have,
Yeah.
you know, obviously, I saw more pictures that day, but it never crossed my path. It's like, every day, twice a day, I've never encountered
Oh,
it.
yeah. He taxed the trucks. Yeah.
Really?
I was probably down.
He's,
I was just thinking about.
the turkey wife.
And,
He's there. He comes out every few days. We don't know. All those people. No.
I don't think I called
They
you.
have a great practice to get out all the time. And I'm sure the dogs and everybody else is animal control. But they're not very nice.
Oh.
And they're children.
it is.
Well, I meant like you gave it to me or something. So we go by association.
You have any, letter writing? You okay?
Updated we do.
You guys didn't have to run all night.
You wrecked everything. Yep, that's funny. That's funny.
Exactly. Figure out how it was, I was like, no, just shove it, get it down, get it.
It dropped and got over.
Hey, Ryan. Give me what I'm heading
Colombian refugee. You see them all at once. Big
Yes, we shall. Y'all ready to sort of converse here?
But I never did. You guys know that? That's right. I'm willing to make it be messy. But I never.
He was on the list. He was on the list this fall with me.
Oh, very nice meeting you.
But no, they had rented a bunch of equipment. I didn't crush you. But anyway, I'm gonna say, they rented some equipment, did some rent. There's another holding home here next to a bit next to the
When I go to
big
house,
clubhouse there, I guess. So there is some major work that's on here, so you might let Joe know. Full smackle.
Oh.
I don't know if you dress,
I admire that nice Christmas present she
Where's John?
they didn't, she wasn't here. I left, I gave them 3 hours. So I left.
From what I know. It'll be $1 million, like $5 million. That's not That's wonderful. My brother. I
I call to order the Board of Trustees regular meeting for December 19, 2023, and the time is now 6 p.m. Trustee Johnson, would you please like to give the invocation for us? Sure. Thank you.
Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for the wonderful white snow you've given us. And thank you for the freedoms that we enjoy to be our own rulers in the country, that we're not being persecuted by a foreign country or other people. I pray for those who defend our freedoms, who are there to rescue us when we need things. I pray for those firefighters that save our lives. Be with all those families as this season and celebration is here, and that would help us remember them, the ones that can't be with their families. Amen.
Amen. Please join me with the pledge of allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please, Ms. Varian.
Mr. Evans?
Here.
Mr. Johnson?
Here.
Ms. McKee?
Here. I move to adopt the agenda as presented. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, discussion, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I'm disappointed once again the agenda was held from not only myself as trustee, but the public until about 24 hours prior to this meeting. I'm looking forward to the new year, that not being the case.
Roll call, Ms. Varian.
Mr. Evans?
No.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
Yes. I move to adopt the minutes from December 5th, 2023 meeting as presented. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, discussion?
Yeah, once again, the minutes are skewed, do not properly reflect the actions or comments of the board. And that is it.
Roll call, Ms. Varian.
Mr. Evans?
No.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
Yes. Okay, we can now move over to public comments, and please limit your public comments to 3 minutes per person. Please come up to the podium, state your name and address for the record.
Craig Zacher, 79 Trail East. Mr. Johnson, I want to thank you for your years of service for this township. You have watched our money, and you have been a rock in this mess lately. Also you.
Thank you. I appreciate
Just
it.
want to thank you for all your years.
Thank you so much.
Gary Burkholder, 254 Trail East. 2 items that I have. First, I would hope that we, as I've said before, that we actually post and advertise, or at least make the community aware of these appointments to the Zoning Commission and the BZA. These are 5-year commitments, and even though some individuals request to be reappointed, I think it's still wise to open up the opportunity for other citizens in our community, and then also go through the proper process of interviewing so you have a better idea of some of the applicants. The second item I have is the AMH easement, Broyles 2 project. I'm opposed to granting that easement at this time. I think I know there may be some information presented here tonight, but we don't even have a plan yet on how we're going to develop that parkland. So I think putting encumbrances on those properties with easements is not wise at this time. Also, many developers like to put their stormwater onto public lands and public property for future maintenance, and I think Drayton Hall is a prime example of that, where that stormwater is now going to come onto the parkground. And that maintenance is not going to be done. I checked with the county, that maintenance is going to be on a ditch petition, so maintenance of that pond will actually fall to the county as well. So I think that's something that we need to be very careful about in the future, particularly stormwater, and I'm glad to see that we have representatives here tonight to talk about some of these stormwater issues. Thank you.
Steve Sly, 1372 Londondale Parkway. So first, I'd like to say to Mr. Johnson, you have done a great job for Etna Township. I know you going back to my days on the school board. You've spent pretty much a good portion of your life, whether it was on a zoning board or as a trustee or volunteering on numerous things throughout the community. Hopefully you continue to, present yourself in ways to the community going forward that will continue to be beneficial. But you, while we may not always agree on certain things, there was always respect, and I certainly respect you for the time you put in, and for the last 2 years. Definitely, you definitely earned people's respect. There's no obvious. Nobody obviously doesn't. People realize where I stood on the last election, and I will say to Mr. Burkholder, I've known you for over 20 years also, and I remember you when I endorsed you for county commissioner, and I remember the Gary Burkholder back then. That's the one I hope shows up on January 1st. That's the Gary Burkholder that will serve the community well, and I hope your association with Mr. Evans, is not one of partnership where you just agree on everything, but rather you take opinions from Mrs. McGee and opinions from Mr. Evans into consideration if you are board president, and take those things in. But like I said, I've known you for a while, and I've supported you a lot in the past, and I would like to continue to do that after January if that same Gary Burkholder shows up. That's what my hope is. But I do want to bring up something, and I'm hoping that Gary Burkholder from the past will not condone a text message that I received from Mr. Evans in March of 2023. And in that text message, I'll state, I'll talk about this one piece here. Of course, if anybody wants to see it, I'll show it to him after the meeting. Mr. Evans goes on to say, I think they, again, this was in March of this year, I think they would put a puppet in for the administrative position, speaking about Carlisle, that they can control. I bet he's a political whore. She, meaning Mrs. McKee, is dumb enough to do it. It just goes to show Carlisle is only out for him, only him. Have you heard anything else thinking of running? I went on to say that, okay, so we know from Vance's situation that she needs, and I'm just talking about Mrs. McKee in this conversation, somebody that will be able to help direct her and coach her on what to do. She has shown that she doesn't care if she is associated with Carlisle. If you are her, he would be the obvious choice for that position and would be the fourth trustee. Mr. Evans fires back and states the Girdwick people probably want the one from Genoa. She is being directed by them also. She whores herself out to anyone that will do things for her. So my question, I guess, is, will you?
Is that time?
I'm sorry?
That time?
The
Ms.
time.
McKee, 3 minutes.
Yeah, no, I've still got time.
Go ahead, Mr.
So again, I would just like to know, today you say hopefully new things will start in January of 2024. Are you going to publicly apologize today for calling Trustee McGee a whore in a text message to me? Is that the Mark Evans that we're going to see in 2024, or we're going to see it?
What I will do is post your text messages
Absolutely.
to me.
Absolutely, because the difference between
showing a double agent working for Mr. Carlisle.
The difference between me and you, I'm not the person in office and I'm not running for office. That's the difference between me and you. I can say whatever I want and I'll tell people I said it. I have no problem with that. You're the one sitting there. You're the one that works for the people, not me. So there's a difference. You can post all you want. I'll post back. Plenty, over 100 messages from you, and a lot more damaging than that. My guess is, Mrs. Brown, Mrs. Hanson, probably Mrs. McGee would all love to hear the things that you have to say about them. I guess it was probably a defamation case somewhere in there, but we'll see. So again, my situation is I'm not the elected official.
Well, again, we have your message saying that you were contriving all this to try to destroy Mr. Burkholder's campaign.
I've admitted this to everybody, that I played you like a fiddle for 10 months. For 10 months, I played you like a fiddle. And you gave me all the information that we needed to know about you.
Thank you, Mr. Sly. I appreciate it.
And this is the Carlisle side doing this. This is what I've been fighting against.
Thank you, Steve. Good job. Awesome.
Is there any more public comments tonight?
John Kennard, 10785 Palmer Road. I also would like to thank Mr. Johnson for all his many years of service, and feel sorry for your last year of abuse that you had to take from the person on your right. I see we got executive council or executive session. I think when you guys are going to have an executive session, that should start at 5 o'clock. You get all these folks in here, all the township, all the, you know, and we have an executive meeting from 6 to 7 or 7 to 8, and then we have a regular meeting go till 10. So I think what you need to look at is having that session before you get the crowd here at the township.
What about putting it after? A lot of entities put it at the end. Would that be better, so you hear the reports and all that, so if you want to stick around for the executive session?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kennard. So we have public comments tonight?
Alan Ulrich, Cumberland Trails. I just want to thank Jeff for his years of service. I kind of got to ask the same question. Is that appropriate behavior to call a fellow trustee a whore? That's who you are. So you can shake your head all you want, but you're a pretty despicable person to behave that way. And that's clearly why the township has gone through what they're going through today, because of you. And hopefully Gary sees through that and doesn't support that behavior.
That's right. Thank you. So any other comments tonight, please?
My name is Lizette Schmeyer, I live in Cumberland Trail. I want to thank Jeff for his years of service to the community and the great job that you did. Just a little bit of time that I've been here and witnessed what you did. I just want to say that as we kick off the new year and we have new trustees here, that they will do what the people want and not what they want. And that they will really, really represent the people of Etna, not themselves. Okay, and that includes financial and the whole thing. Okay? Stop with the nonsense. We don't need any more nonsense now. You got what you wanted. But Etna, you got who you voted for. So I hope it all works out, and I hope that the new trustee is going to work for the people. Okay? So let's get the work done for Etna, not for the trustees.
Thank you.
End of story.
Is there any other comments tonight? All righty. So we can, okay, we are supposed to go into executive session, but right now the legal attorney that's representing the township is not here. So we're going to go ahead and move over to the report from our township administrator, Nita Hanson.
May I go to the podium?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Lest I forget, as we approach the end of the year, I want to wish each of you and everyone you love an amazing holiday celebration and a healthy, happy, and prosperous new year. My Jewish friends just ended their observance of Hanukkah. My Christian friends will be celebrating the birth of the Messiah. But most of us will enjoy the comfort of gathering with our families. Hopefully, as this year ends, we will all find grace and peace. The road crew has already been out twice since our last meeting salting our roadways. Thank you for that great work that you do. Trustees, please consider an annual reimbursement to each road crew member for approved safety boots not to exceed $250 per road crew employee. This reimbursement would be annually each January. For any road crew member employed after January of any year, that employee would be entitled to reimbursement the following January. This expenditure can also be applied to the $500 rebate available through our insurance.
So moved. The $250 per employee. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Discussion?
I believe we used to do this, but probably just got pushed by the wayside. I think, did you remember that? Yeah, it used to.
My question is on new employees, why aren't they reimbursed even though, isn't this about providing the boots for safety? Aren't they steel-toed and pretty for safety? So why wouldn't we do that on the new employee? If they start January 5th, it's an entire year that they're not reimbursed.
Well, no, they started January 5th. I'm just saying, my intention was so that each of the reimbursements would roll around to January, so that it wasn't up to the fiscal officer to determine that, oh, this person was last reimbursed in May, so now we can't reimburse them again until May. So having them all roll around. I mean, I suppose we could amend the motion to say that a new employee would be entitled to reimbursement upon hire and then again in January, but then what if they were hired in November or December? So I thought this was the easiest way to keep track and ensure that each employee had a new pair of work boots every January. If there's a better way to do it, I'm happy to, can have that be your determination. But my concern was tracking who had new boots when and when would they otherwise be entitled to reimbursement for a second for another new pair.
And this isn't just a check to them for $250, they have to provide the receipt.
So reimbursement, that's correct.
I just think there's a better way to do the new employee, especially maybe if they're hired earlier. I don't know.
Great.
Because if it is about safety, we want to ensure that they do have the proper boots. That would be my only comment.
Roll call.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Coakley and I have reviewed the many applications received in response to our ad for a road crew member. From those submissions, Mr. Coakley called the most promising candidates and made recommendations to me for interviews. We interviewed 4 candidates in person. We recommend extending an offer to Nathan Pack. Nathan came highly recommended by Jason Fravel of the City of Pataskala. He's young and will be a good addition for the future of the team. He's currently an independent contractor, so he would not need to give notice to a current employer. And I'm asking for you to approve us to extend an offer to Nathan, contingent on passing the drug test, driver's abstract, and background check, subject to the union contract.
Is he here?
I don't believe so.
No.
No, I don't see.
This, I'll make a motion that we hire Mr. Pack.
I'll go ahead and second.
He would follow everything, how the union pay
I'm
is.
sorry.
He'd follow the union
Oh,
pay
yes.
scale and everything and that, and involve the union.
Yeah.
When would be his start date, you believe?
Well, he could start, as soon as we get confirmation, I guess he could start as early as this week, but we would need to get confirmation ultimately of him successfully doing the drug test, the driver's abstract, and the background check. So, but he's available immediately as soon as those things happen.
I just would like to say, I don't think it's proper that we don't get to meet him. We don't get to interview him. This is deviating from past practices, and he should have been brought in executive session, so at least we can have that, because we do have the oversight. And one of the issues that we've had on this board is the board's not being provided proper, correct information, full information all the time, so it's our duty to ensure that is the case. So I'd move to table this so that we can interview him. I did ask that we have an executive session for these instances, and I don't know why that's being ignored.
This is completely consistent with the process that we've used since you've hired an administrator. You put me in charge of as the supervisor of the road crew. The last road crew members we hired, we followed exactly this process. So I'm sorry to interrupt, because I know that there was a motion to table.
On the floor, we need a second.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Second to that.
Is there a second?
It's a second, yeah, I'll second, yes, I'll second.
Do you want roll?
Yeah.
Mr. Evans?
Roll call, please.
This is the motion to table.
Oh, no, we didn't, that's not what we talking about.
Yeah, we
No,
weren't talking about
you
that.
seconded the motion to hire.
So you're
but
sec-
there's
Yeah, I
a
second the
motion.
motion to hire.
Yeah.
I don't know where the table it came
He
from,
made a
from
motion
Mr.
to
Evans.
table.
No,
Mr. Evans made a motion to table, but needs
Um,
started talking before you
okay,
got a second.
I'm sorry,
I
Mrs.
apologize.
Hanson,
I
you are
started
fine,
talking
it's okay,
before.
yeah, it's okay.
So you need a second to table, a motion to second.
Sounds like that died to table it. So, we continue the discussion.
I feel that, Mr. Coakley, look through how many did you look through the thing, applications?
More than 10.
And then how many did you interview?
Yeah, probably.
I don't know how many, I mean.
And they all had CDLs,
Yeah, the ones I called back, they all had CDLs and I had.
so it was a very competitive group of people, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So we had a number of applications that had no CDL.
Mhm.
And so the ones that had a CDL B or A, those were passed on to Bubba. And then Mr. Hobley, from there determined based on their resumes that they were submitting or their applications, whether to call them. There's probably 10 or more that he called, and then narrowed that field down to the 4 that we interviewed in person.
And you were on the interviews, right?
Correct.
So we had plenty of resumes come in, we had plenty of CDLs, and we were down to that. You called them, got down to 4, so you 2 entered. Your decision's good with me at that point. You guys know what I think about the road crew. You invested your time and effort into it.
Well, I'd just like to say, I'm gonna vote no just on the process, nothing about the individual or anything, but.
And they will be reporting to you, that person, so. Roll call, Ms. Berry.
Mr. Evans?
No.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
Anita, can I ask that you just start next week in that over pace?
Oh, sure,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
makes good sense, since Friday's the end of a,
Yeah,
or what, the end of a period, so.
thank you.
Yeah, sure. The road resurfacing projects on Palmer Road and Heritage Etna Parkway are complete. Both projects came in under the bid. Of the total $858,446.50, the JEDZs will reimburse the cost for Heritage and Etna Parkway in the total amount of $463,581.60, and those checks are expected by year's end. The expense to the township for the total project will ultimately be $394,864.90. We had our second all-hands team building meeting this week, last Friday. It was very well attended. We had 2 trustees. We had our fiscal officer-elect. We had all of the employees in attendance. And we took an opportunity to share discussions of Mr. Johnson and thank him for his many, many years of service to the township. 16 years as a trustee, but many years outside of that. And then we had a team building exercise with characters from Christmas movies. And I don't know if anybody thought that was as fun as I did, but I thought it was really fun. It was a great time.
It was good, but I don't think I was getting most fun.
You think I got the most fun? I think that could be true. That's kind of typical for me. I wanted to give an update on this canal remediation work. There was a question asked at the last meeting about the noise generated at the site from dropping trailers. and there's nothing in the PMUD that addresses noise. So I wanted to cover that. Scannell has provided the county with the timeline for construction of the remedial ditch. The ditch will be constructed beginning January 22nd, and it's projected to take 19 days. It will be then connected to the existing drain tile. Pipe installation will follow, with the west connection being completed by February 15th. So that was the schedule that we got today. Smoke Road is open at Refugee. Yay!
Yay!
Yay! There's at least one lane with traffic control lights. So that's open and no longer completely blocked. I wanted to remind everyone to register for the OTA conference, the winter conference, February 7th through 9th. Pre-registration is due prior to Wednesday, January 17th, so there's still time, but I wanted to remind you. I have heard from Mr. Evans and Mr. Burkholder that they have registered. I have registrations for Mrs. McKee, Mr. Copley, and Ms. Coutinho. So anyone else that would like to have any assistance in that registration process, let me know. From our park committee, we have received about 150 paper responses to the park survey. That, of course, is in addition to those that responded electronically through SurveyMonkey. And so on the paper submissions, we are inputting those paper submissions into SurveyMonkey so that all of the data can be collected in one place. The National Fitness Campaign is looking for communities to award grants for a program called Healthy Communities. They are very excited about the possibility of working with the township to provide its first Central Ohio location. I provided each of you a PDF of the presentation that was made last week and gave you a link to a 3-minute video. This presentation is for an outdoor gym area. For the fitness court studio, there is a $30,000 grant available, requiring an estimated total from the township of $217,500. America is facing a health crisis caused by sedentary lifestyles. This was only exacerbated in recent years by the sheltering and distancing requirements of the pandemic. Americans spend more money than any other nation on health care with poor results. We are now in the perfect position to plan for our park to have this type of facility. People can download a functional training system library of fitness programs. We can be part of America's largest public-private wellness partnership. It will encourage our residents to spend more time outdoors, improving both mental and physical well-being. The fitness court studio is about the size of 2 tennis courts. One side has fixed fitness equipment. The other side is open for fitness classes like Zumba or yoga. The center divider wall is adorned with artwork. I ask for authority be given to proceed with this project with NFC to apply for grants.
Have you spoken with David Chavez with NFC? Is that the contact?
No.
Okay, that's the individual I was talking to last year about this, and he gave quite a bit of information. So have you talked to anybody there?
Yes, I had an extended meeting, and that's where all of this information came from.
Okay, I've got some additional information, but one of the things is there's an opportunity with the artwork. They have different ways you can do it, but I think if we incorporate the digital art students at Watkins maybe to design that, give them some ownership of that, I think that'd be a good idea. But this is something, like I said, I brought out last year, so I'm for this.
Well, I know to add to the artwork using the high schoolers is a great idea, and it is additional for that to happen. It's a great idea. So that was one of the conversations that we had with the company. Is it Megan? Was that the ladies?
I'm so sorry, I have to look it up.
But
I
she,
have it over at my
yeah, very, very familiar with this. And yes, I do remember you brought it up a year ago, Mr. Evans, way before we got the park even, to get the committee together. So it was just not a good time at that time. And now that we're moving forward with the the park, this would be a good time to start implementing this, and to come to find out, we would be the only one in Central Ohio.
For the first.
For the first, yeah.
Well, and
So
the
it's exciting for that.
close location of there is in Fairborn, Ohio. They've got
Yes.
one there, so if anybody's out that way, you can take a look at it. It's a great, I think it's going to be a great asset for our community, and so I'm glad it's been delayed, but at least we're moving forward now.
And tonight you're asking for approval to move through the grant, to apply for the grant, is
Right,
that
I want
correct?
to just have authority to continue to work with them to apply for the grants, but I think we would need to appropriate the money so that when the grant is applied for, we can have the commitment to say that the township has appropriated the matching funds that will be required.
So I'll move to, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I think we're pretty far away from any funds being expended because we don't even have the center section of the park. That closing's been extended till at least maybe June. We might be able to do it sooner. I mean, it's good to get the process moving, but I don't think any funds are going to be really expended for quite a while.
Well, I agree that they probably won't be extended, but when we make the grant application, I assume based on other grants that I've worked with, we're gonna have to be able to certify that the township has appropriated the matching funds.
Right, and that's, we should work with the NCA because their funds are coming in and maybe we could get reimbursed on that through them.
Is this the one you're sending in, is that it?
No, that's me.
No, that's you.
That's
It
core
looks like
five.
this.
Oh, core five, I'm sorry, yes, I was looking for that.
It's a whole, it's this here, this is just a break, but there's a video that you can actually watch.
I had it attached to this somehow, my packet, so that's what I was wondering about it. Didn't look right.
Yeah, this is kind of breaks, there's two pieces to it. You can go with the,
I don't know if you save the stuff I get last, I think it's November 22nd, meeting at 22, I provided all the information then too.
Chuck, this is the whole packet that I had sent you.
Somehow I had that, I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
that's
look
okay.
that looked totally wrong, and I was
Yeah,
trying to
no
find it.
problem, I wanted to look at.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see this stuff. But I've seen one ask, if you're asking for money tonight, that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
I don't think she's asking for funds, she's asking for the authority to apply for it.
Right.
But you still have to assign funds to it, right?
Right, the funds have to be committed
Matching.
so that we can make sure. I was looking on here, the price if we don't use their artwork.
Well, like I said, even if there's a little bit more cost, I think having the students be involved with that, number one, might motivate them to get into fitness more, but have them have some ownership to it.
No, I agree that that would have been a really great thing to inquire about with us, so that we could have addressed that. And if you have other information, it would be helpful for you to provide that. I don't see.
Yeah, I've got all the
what
fees, if you wanna
number
use
is
like
about
a national artist, there's a certain fee. and-
yeah.
Right,
Correct.
that's enough.
I'm not against it, I'm just saying that we don't even have it.
But as far as
I didn't see it in the budget at all, so we didn't have.
as far as David Chavez told me, there was no need to expend or commit the funds in the early stage. You apply for it.
I'm not applying for it.
Yeah, but you have to commit to, matching funds to apply for the grant.
That's with using their artwork.
Do that.
Okay.
I think
And
that's
so,
correct,
yeah,
if you're using artwork that you're choosing.
Do we have to commit 30,000, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it actually would be with the township matching funds of up to $217,500, which is.
Because it includes the cost of pouring a pad,
Yes,
or
yeah.
they could have a contractor, we could have a contractor
Yeah.
do it. There's a lot of benefits.
They like to use the ones that they're familiar with to make sure you're getting the pad and the padding.
And
it's
if you-
going to be included
And
in
if
the
you do-
design, so that's why there's an additional cost. You know, there's a half court, you could do that, or you could do the full court. Picture a tennis court. So you could do the full, I mean, one side you could do your Zumba and yoga, and the other side it has different kinds of stretches, and The art, like you mentioned, you have that option of using their artist or using our local. Or you go with the standard that comes with it if you do the extended, which is here on that sheet that she handed out, which is, the full court.
And just for the public, I reposted what I posted last year on my Facebook page if anybody wants to go to it to see.
So I moved to authorize Nita Hansen, our administrator, to work with the NFC to apply for the grants for the 2024 NFC Healthy City Program with the township matching funds up to $217,500. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Discussion? Roll call, Ms. Varian?
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
The speed radar signs are active on Pike Street and Columbia Road. About every 45 days, we'll download the data and move the signs to different locations. So be in tune for further reports. Wind Waste will be mailing a postcard to the residential accounts notifying them that the township is giving back tax dollars in the form of payment of the first quarter 2024 recurring charges. That postcard has not yet been mailed, but is in the works. Finally, I wanted to seek your advice about closing the garage at 1 p.m. on Friday and the office at 3 p.m., giving each employee an extra 2 hours of holiday pay. Of course, if the snow starts to fall again, then our road crew will be out in trucks. But absent that, that would just give everyone an extra 2 hours of holiday pay.
I leave that up to your discretion.
Well, I would think, I mean, we provide quite a few holidays, personal days, vacation days. I think if somebody wants to take a few hours early, let them do it, but especially with the union contract, I just don't see the need for that.
Is there any concern with the union contract that we couldn't close and offer an extra 2 hours? Okay. And that's fine.
So you would close the office here at 1 as well as the garage?
No, close the office here at 3 and the garage at 1 because they work earlier hours.
Okay, so you're trying to be fair, giving all the same amount of hours
That's
off,
right,
a couple
but
hours.
that just
Makes
gives
sense.
everyone an extra 2 hours of holiday pay.
Just to give you a heads up. I'm off Friday on vacation.
That's what I'm
Trying to
saying.
use vacation.
I think if people want to take it off, just use vacation.
Well, I've been trying to use it vacation time because I'm gonna lose it. So it's not a day off, it's 8 hours vacation.
Okay, gotcha.
So if you approve 2 hours holiday pay, I need to know how. I'm trying to use it vacation pay, I'm
Gotcha.
gonna lose it by the end of the
Okay. Okay. So are you aware of Laura being off Friday since she's your employee and how you guys want to work that out? Okay.
We can work it out. She didn't take 2 hours on Thursday or.
Okay.
I need more with that. I just need you guys to make a motion, so just to make sure it's okay for audit wise, because there's only so many holiday hours given from the state to pay the staff. So if you want 2 hours, you can have it. I just need the board to
Authorize that to move forward on that. Mm-hmm. So we're just closing out the office early.
On motion for 2 additional hours of holiday pay, the road crew would have from.
So the holiday is actually Monday.
Correct. The holiday is actually Monday.
Tuesday they come back to work though, right?
Yeah.
Would you guys normally have Christmas Eve off?
What's on Sunday?
No, I mean normally, Christmas Eve is on the weekend, we normally not have it off.
No, we never had it off, but in the past, sometimes you let us leave early. John Carlisle let us leave early.
Yeah.
Vacation's got to be used up by the end of the year. I mean, why isn't that just being used?
but some of the road don't have any vacation time, so.
Yeah.
To be fair,
And they don't have any personal
holiday
pay.
pay. Right.
I just think, I mean, if it was our personal business, yes, but we're running this for the residents.
I make a motion to get 2 additional hours off for holiday, like, gift, pay, whatever you call it, for employees.
I'll second that. Roll call, Ms. Berry?
Mr. Evans?
No.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
Yes.
That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I guess we are now going to back over to executive session. I move to go in executive session per Ohio Revised Code 121.22G for George to discuss personal matters and litigation matters with counsel, and the time is 6:41. Invited into the executive sessions are the trustee, myself, Rosalind McKee Flax, trustee Johnson, and trustee Evans, and also attorney Pat Kesson. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, Ms. Varian?
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. McKee?
Yes.